you ready for your first political scandal, Mr. Future Congressman?
I love you so much.
We deserve a break.
A week with your folks at the lake.
Roger.
Very happy to be here.
He's here! Thank you for bringing me a new toy to play with. Let's do this! Oh, yeah! This is so good to finally meet you, you know?
I always wanted a brother.
Brother-in-law. Technically, we're not even that yet.
Tell that to my heart.
Welcome to Hostel! It's Todd.
I've had this proposal plan.
You gotta relax. Remember, that's why we came up here, so you could bond with my family.
Her sister's boyfriend is a little...
Billy Bob wants to get from you.
Little what? Different.
We got you!
You seem upset? He's been ruining my life all week.
Look, he's skinny dipping. Good for him.
We're live. Wait, is that Todd?
Now that's news.
Nobody move.
Got this guy.
We're brothers now.
Roger said you're the man to show me around.
Wait, Roger said I was the man?
To show me around.
I am the man.
To show me around. I feel like there's a part of the sentence you're not listening to.
I am the man.
Thank you so much.
Guys, thanks so much for being here.
Happy to be here. Thank you for watching the trailer for our movie.
Yeah, thank you.
Congratulations on starting what I hope is going to be a buddy comedy routine for the future of movies.
Yeah,
That would be great.
From your lips to Mr. Hollywood's ears.
Well, Mr. Lorne Michaels, who produced the movie, right? So you're both at SNL. You write this movie. It's directed by two guys who direct stuff at SNL, right?
Correct.
So this was a sort of a labor of love of a lot of people in the halls of SNL.
Yeah, I've never worked for like a corporation, but you know, like corporate retreats where they'll take everybody to a resort and like team build and bond and share experiences.
You guys do that?
This was a lot of that, but we just put it on digital tape and then cut it together. It was.
I do trust falls whenever I can.
It's true. Too often.
Way too
often.
Sometimes
People,
I
you have
fall
to kind of
and no
satellite
one's there.
him. Like, is he gonna?
No trust involved.
Randomly in the middle of the day, you just hear about
It
trust fall.
might
Trust
happen
fall.
during this interview.
That's why we filmed on water, because we knew if he was gonna fall, he'd splash. Ah! He trusts none of you now. He trusts
I trust
none of you.
no one. I
You
trust
didn't even
no one
move.
here. No one even tried.
Too quick, Bobby. Too quick.
No one cared.
So how did the story itself come about? And it's clearly like a reference to The Great Outdoors, which was the movie that I immediately picked up on. But maybe even like because it's SNL, like maybe like a little Tommy Boy as well.
Yes, I think that those comparisons are inevitable, whether or not just the fact that it's two guys in a movie produced.
Taran is very Chris Farley.
The original script was written by a writer, Cameron Fay, and I loved it because it had elements of Great Outdoors and What About Bob and Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, especially a lot of the John Hughes movies. And SNL had purchased the script and said, you can kind of retool it and repurpose it however you would like. And I said, well, I would love to do it with Bobby. And they said, okay.
How did you retool it? Because I think one of the main differences that I noticed between like The Great Outdoors and even What About Bob is that there's an element of Candy and Murray's characters that are almost like sociopathically
detached,
malicious and detached and sort of hurting the main character, where Bobby's character for the most part is like a pretty good guy most of the movie. Even the mistakes that are hurting your character, he's a good guy. Your character almost comes off as maybe a little detached.
Yes. No, in terms of the relationship, if we borrowed or referenced anything, that is truly Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, where, you know, Steve Martin is the lead, but he's a full asshole through the whole movie. If you go back and watch Planes, Trains, like, it's Steve Martin, so you love him, but he, you know, the whole idea of make your character likable and have them save a baby from a fire at the beginning, so we're rooting for them. He's very mean from the outset.
Now that you say it, he's really mean to John Candy.
Very mean, and my favorite moment of that movie is where he like tears into him harshly, and John Candy is like, "I like me, my wife likes me," and it breaks your heart. It's beautiful, and that comedy is at times very broad and very silly, but that was, I think, part of the beauty of a lot of what John Hughes did is that he would go silly and ludicrous, and you could have John Candy water skiing off a dock and a grizzly bear with a bald ass, but would also have a real sentiment and real heart, making, just adding those layers so that oh, these are real people, not just personas.
Right.
I was going to say I auditioned for that part of the bear. I didn't.
Bobby, when
Your ass was too hairy.
It was way too hairy.
When-
Also, not a bear. It turns out.
when did it come your way?
In most circles.
Was it after Taran had done a rewrite, or had sort of written it and asked if he could do it with you, or was he talking to you about it beforehand?
I think it changed a little bit along the way. It was written, but you rewrote so much of it. But once he decided to make the movie, I came on board to play that part.
And what was the biggest challenge for you in making this movie?
The flight. There was no challenge. It was the best. I had an amazing time. It was a long flight to get to Klamath Falls, Oregon.
I mean, really, you at one point are shooting up on like a jet
Oh, that was super hard. Yeah.
Yeah. Like,
I forgot that I was.
when I saw you doing that, I was like, that's not a stunt man. How is he doing this? I thought you had to be a professional at doing this.
No, I did like maybe in realistically a couple hours of practice, and I oddly have good balance. I was a hockey player, so it's all. There's a scene in the movie where I'm on those jet boots. They like propel you out of the water on the jet ski, and it's all just your ankles. Have you ever been on a Segway?
No.
It's shockingly like being on a Segway.
Like the hoverboards too.
Oh,
the
yeah,
hoverboard,
those
the ones
hoverboards
that
they
catch
have
on
now.
fire.
Yeah.
I got a collection of those at home, actually.
It's
now.
like that. We found the way to ride those safely. Don't have fire, just put it in water.
Yeah.
He was great. He was so game, and it was impressive to watch. Where like the stunt guys were like, "No, really, careful, because we're gonna start it slow." And I think literally by your second or third attempt, you were hovering 5 feet out of the water. It was awesome.
It was rough. We were talking about this earlier. I'm terrified of lakes. I'm terrified of water that I can't see the bottom. I have a problem with it. And there's a scene in the movie where I have to lift Taran out of the water. He's a grown man, and I'm on jet boots.
Damn straight.
And I was like, I don't know if I can do it. They had a rig with a wire just in case, and we tried to do it a couple times, and it wasn't working. And then I heard Taran whisper, like, I don't think he can do it. And I got super, super angry. So the shot you see in the movie is my own pride of just me guttural screaming and lifting him out of the water. And I also love it because I know Taran so well, there's like a half of like, he did it. And I could see the
I'm
tiny
supposed to be
corner of his
unconscious
mouth.
and like knocked out, and
And I see him go like, nice job.
like in the shot, in the frame of the movie, you see Taran say,
It really is. It's in slow motion for a reason because I got him out of the water and then immediately went down.
How did you guys go about casting the rest of the movie? I mean, Bill Pullman is in it, and I don't know if Bill Pullman has just gotten a little crazier with age, but he seems totally crazy throughout this whole movie. Even when he's just happy sitting there, he said, like, you cut to him and he's just like it's
He's
so weird.
the best.
he truly was like our favorite person to work with, because we love, obviously there's Independence Day and movies like Less Than
Spaceballs.
Zero, but Spaceballs really is where it all starts for me. Lots of things start at Spaceballs, and it's been a while since he's kind of done that type of comedy, so I think he was just really enjoying himself. And
One of my favorite lines in the movie is when she asks him what he's eating, and he smiles for 3 seconds and then just says melon. But it's just the smile on his face beforehand. He's so happy he's eating melon.
I guess that's what it is. He looks like someone who's having the best time possible on set. Like, you said, hey, do comedy, and he was just like, okay, that just means smiling for 2 months or however long you were shooting.
We just screened it last night. Like, we had our premiere screening last night, and it was the first time I think either of us had seen it in close to a year. I watched it with only eyes for Pullman, because he does so many great little subtle throwaways. Like, there's definitely a viewing of this movie where you just focus on Bill, because there's so much like
Truly amazing physical comedian.
Yeah,
you
yeah,
watch
yeah,
the
yeah.
Independence Day speech and you're like, if this man was president, I'd be fine with it. And then you watch, there's just a scene in the movie where he's showing Taran something on a board, and just It's everything.
sharpness.
The sharpness and the way he moves. He's
That's
just
why the walks are fun. That's
Yeah,
he also
he's
is one of my
just-
favorite.
he's absolutely
lines.
hilarious.
Yeah.
So you guys were clearly pretty good friends while working on SNL together, right? Were you confident that your sort of friendship would translate well to the screen in terms of a buddy comedy?
Yes.
There's really only, you can't say no. There's no answer for that.
Yeah, I mean that's the impetus for making the decision. Is I loved working with no one more than Bobby on SNL, and so I was like, I'd like to do that more, and in a longer format and during the daytime.
Yeah, and not pressed for time and on no sleep. But I truly say we were friends, and I it's the worst thing to say, but like after that, like, we're brothers now. Like that's how I felt making that movie. Was like we were friends, and now we made that movie, and now we're.
And wait, what's the movie called again? Oh, Brother Nature. Yeah, there it is.
Originally, brother-in-laws.
Brother-in-laws, but brother was always
Changed
in the
it.
title. Yeah.
Did you actually change it?
Yeah, we had brother-in-laws was
It's not a real thing.
purchased by Sony or something
Yeah.
like that.
It's the sequel to Son-in-Law, and that's what happened to you guys there.
Originally,
Charlotte
Pauly
Gugino
Shore
got too
played my
famous
part.
and was like, no, I'm not coming back.
I'm not doing another Pauly Shore movie. Sorry. So
Pauly Shore plays the fish. Uncredited.
a big breakaway for him. We're looking at some nominations possibly here.
Wanted to play a weasel. We said no.
No, we're not. Too familiar.
Oh, so you get the script and you start rewriting it. Did you have to convince Lorne is a producer on it? What does that entail? And did you have to convince him of you and Bobby working together, or what was that conversation?
He was very involved in the project. I mean, he's here. Oh no, I'm sorry. That's our publicist. Okay, so he was only slightly less involved in this process than our publicist Lee. Yeah, I mean, it was really through Broadway Video and Hilary Marks and Andrew Singer. And that is the beauty of SNL and working in that that in that sort of playground is that it's up to you. It's that's what Lorne said when he's like, you're going to do this film and no one's going to care more than you. And that's the kind of beautiful, supportive, nurturing advice the man loves to give.
I love him.
Stable.
Does that advice finish with, now get out of my office?
Yeah. Now I'm going inside my house, and you can't follow me home ever again. What's great about SNL is that every week you start from scratch. You have one of the more famous people at that time coming, and they're very nervous, and it's your job to support and take care of them. You have a very defined amount of time, and whatever state the show is in or quality your sketch happens to be in, at 11:30 it's going to go on air. And it teaches you these great lessons of production, of sort of social dynamics, of not being creatively precious with things. And so, we flew to Oregon. We had, I think, 22 days to shoot. And it was us, and there were a bunch of other SNL people, A.D. Bryant and Mike O'Brien, Tim Robinson, Kenan Thompson, and Jody Mancuso, who's one of the heads of the hair department, was there doing us a favor. And everybody from SNL was like, this is a dream. This is awesome. We're working out in the sun, out by the lake. We have 20 plus days to shoot this. And everybody else, was panicked and freaking out. But
After those 20 days, they're not showing it immediately.
Yeah, exactly. We can think about this. We can dwell on it. We can change things. And almost all the credit goes to Matt and Oz, our directors, who I had known before SNL, and we tried to get a couple of movies made, and then they got hired on SNL. And some of my favorite pieces that I've ever done, Mokiki, Boy Dance Party, The Standoff, a thing that we came, all my favorite videos I shot with those guys. And so here was this opportunity to make a movie together. And so I think the benefit and the biggest gift that SNL gave us was that shorthand and that familiarity with each other and knowing what we could accomplish under, the highest pressure environment. So we went in with a little confidence. It was still a lot of work, and you have to be discerning, and there's different skill sets, but it was one of the best summers of my life for all of those reasons, and I'm really, really proud of the movie.
It's so strange. I think so many people made an assumption with the announcement that you're not going to be joining this season of SNL, that there was some sort of bad blood or something, but you're literally like in the midst of promoting a movie with one of your co-stars on SNL, all of these people that worked on SNL, and you're also going into post, I think, on a movie that you made as well. Clearly, it wasn't like a bad blood decision of any kind.
No, it was.
Let me take this one.
Please. I mean, if there's any gripe, it was just the suddenness of it. Just I personally am a sentimental person, so I like to know what's coming, and I like to say proper goodbyes and thank yous. But the decision frees up my time. I directed the movie we shot this summer, so I'm going to be editing. I have this friendship, Vanessa J, Rob Klein, Mikey Day, James Anderson, all these brilliant people that I got to walk those halls with and create with, I'll know forever. I mean, that's not ending or going away. So
It is, though.
Oh, wait, what?
We're not talking to you.
Oh, no, I'm being iced.
Sorry.
Oh, that's fair.
Bobby, you going to miss him this year?
Of course, yeah, of course.
Yeah. So you're in another movie that he wrote and directed. Can you talk a little bit about that movie?
Yeah, he killed it. I've known him for a very long time. It's called Why We're Killing Gunther. I got to watch one of my friends become a great director this summer, and it was an absolute blast. It's an action comedy. I do a lot of action movies. It was amazing. Now I'm weirdly seeing a picture of Arnold Schwarzenegger in the back. Arnold Schwarzenegger's in the movie, and that was insane too. It was a blast. It was another. This one was in the woods, and this one that we did in the summer was in Canada, making action movies with a lot of guns and explosions, and it was the best. It's playtime with Taran.
You got to write a movie and act in a movie with Bill Pullman, and then you got to write and direct a movie with Arnold Schwarzenegger. That's a double of sort of childhood 90s fantasies.
Stupid.
If you're a child of the 90s, those are your two heroes, really. Yeah. That's incredible.
It was very surreal to have his involvement because I did not ever conceive of it as a possibility. And he was game. He just said yes. We FaceTimed. The first time I spoke to Arnold, he had read the script, and I get a FaceTime from like Austrian Oak at FaceTime, and I turn on I like rushed to a private space where I can be alone and it's quiet, and I hit answer, and like his assistant picks up, is like, "Hey Taran, how are you? I'm gonna hand you over to Arnold now," and he hands the phone over. Arnold is sitting at his desk in his office, smoking a cigar, in front of, I kid you not, a 6-foot-tall oil painting of him from his pumping iron days, like just him flexing.
Just call me anytime.
Taran, how are you? And the first thing he goes, "Taran, how are you? That's the before. This is the after." It was the best. He was a full pro. He showed up, knew all of his lines, came up with his own ad libs and different alt jokes for every line. It was great. The movie is like, everything that I loved growing up, because I loved Commando, and I loved Predator, and I loved Die Hard, and I love The Professional is one of my favorite movies ever. So I'm not going to be cast in any of those movies legitimately, so I wrote my own.
You're going to be the guy like handing over the security details.
At most, I'm the guy in the back of the car who's like, "We got to get out of here, man!"
I'm the guy at the computer going, I'm getting in. We're in.
We're almost hacked.
Oh, we're almost hacked. And then I eat a sandwich.
No, I have to say, you guys have been on SNL for a number of years. You've met a ton of celebrity. You mean every week there's a new massive celebrity hosting the show?
Yes.
Arnold Schwarzenegger's never hosted, I think, while you've been there. Is there a difference between?
He did a bit with Danny DeVito once, but like it might have been like an update thing, or no, he came on for Hans and Franz.
Right, that's right. Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so you've been around him before.
No.
No,
I was
we
just
were not on the
nerdy
show when Hans and
SNL.
Franz-
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
I thought maybe there was like an updated Hans and Franz that happened or something, but no.
No,
like
I think
Hans and Franz from like the 90s.
Prime Hans and Franz era, yeah.
Okay. So what was it like, sort of being around Arnold Schwarzenegger, and is that kind of like, were there any hosts on SNL that surpassed that or even came close to the Arnold Schwarzenegger kind of aura that he emits?
For me, it was the unexpected feeling of like walking in the room and going, "Oh shit, it's him." Yeah. It's him. Like that's it. Like you don't realize how much of his work you've seen your entire life. Similar to Jim Carrey. Like Jim Carrey, I was like, oh, that'll be great. It's Jim Carrey, that'll be awesome. But then you're in the room with him, and you're like, that's making Jim Carrey. He's making that face I've seen a million times. Like it's that feeling of like, and it's true. You kind of condition yourself. You find out very quickly. I'm a little bit of a fanboy. You find very quickly to go like, don't go crazy when these people are here because you're on the show too. So you have to relax and enjoy it. But like,
Have you ever gone crazy for someone?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, a bunch. Yeah,
Who'd you
it
guys
comes
go
and
crazy
goes.
for?
Most recently, Adam Driver. For some reason, Kylo Ren. I was just like, oh my God, it's Kylo Ren. He got a lightsaber next to me. I freaked out a little bit on him.
I was actually behind you guys in the line for Star Wars. I remember seeing you in the line.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, it's such a weird thing to remember, but I was standing in line. I was like, oh, those are SNL guys. Look at that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Waiting at midnight.
We're SNL in line guys, or we're Star Wars in line guys before we're SNL guys, both of us. I did Encores did a revival of Little Shop of Horrors for like a week last summer.
That's right, with Jake Gyllenhaal,
Yeah,
right?
with Jake Gyllenhaal and Ellen Green was Audrey again, and it was amazing. And Frank Oz, who directed the movie version, came to the show. And
Does the voice of Yoda, right? Doesn't
he's
Frank,
Yoda, and
yeah.
that's my favorite character by a million midichlorians. And
Right, ladies?
My daughter, yeah. I like it was after the show, and the stage manager says, "Hey, come with me. Taran Frank Oz would like to say hello." And that was a feeling of like I lost all cool just because of what he's Fozzie Bear, he's so many things that are important in my upbringing, and I go and he was effusively complimentary, which was lovely, and not the point of the story. And I go, I'm such a big fan, and start to cry. And
you cried?
I start to tear up, and I think I was like, I'm such a big fan. He's like, oh, man, yeah, great job, and like just broke away as quickly as possible.
Like, oh shit, here it comes.
It was the most uncool I've ever been, because he's freaking Yoda, man.
So a couple other members of this cast, you have Gillian Jacobs, you have Rita Wilson. How did you guys go about casting them? They're both fantastic. Gillian Jacobs, everything she does is wonderful.
I 100% agree. We just asked the people we were the biggest fans of, and a lot of them said yes, all of them said yes. David Wayne is in this movie. We got Giancarlo Esposito, and I think it was like the summer after Breaking Bad wrapped, and I couldn't believe that he agreed to come be in this silly, funny, worth-seeing, dumb movie.
If it's worth Giancarlo Esposito's time, it's worth yours.
Fully. So yeah, fully spoiled. Rita Wilson, who's literally mother to us all, whether you know it or not, she will care for you and protect you. It was. We were really spoiled. And as talented and as great as they are as performers and actors, they're all awesome, kind, good, fun people. So it just made for a good time.
I'm going to throw one more out there that you got because we played them as you were walking on. You literally got the Spin Doctors for the movie.
Yes, that's true. That's true. The Spin Doctors are our big reveal at the end of the movie.
Thanks. Spoiler alert.
Trying to sell it for all the Spin Doctors fans out
two
there.
albums, August and Everything After by Counting Crows, and Pocket Full of Kryptonite by the Spin Doctors. I had a 3-disc CD changer. CDs were discs that you put into machines, and those two never left. I had a third disc that would change from Red Hot Chili Peppers to the soundtrack of Dangerous Minds, but the other two, So to have we were. You should tell how we met the Spin Doctors.
Sure. In space. No. Me and Taran had a particularly hard day of shooting. We were staying at a Quality Inn in Klamath Falls. The accommodations were. It was the Quality Inn in Klamath Falls. There was an outdoor pool and jacuzzi that literally the front door of the hotel was here, and about 15 feet away was the jacuzzi outside. And then the parking lot, and there was just a fence separating it. It was a weird thing, weird layout. And we're just sitting in the hot tub. I very rarely go without a shirt on anywhere. And we were sitting in the hot tub, and a van just pulled up, and Spin Doctors got out, and me and Taran stood up in a hot tub. We were like, "Hi, thanks for coming." And they essentially were like, "Who are you?" And we're like, get ready to meet your buddies from the movie.
You're like, we are the stars of the movie.
I always thought I would meet the spin doctors soaking wet in a bathing suit at 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
Chris Barron, the lead singer, like we'd written like doctored, pun intended, lyrics to Prince's, and he's like, "Hey man, I reworked some things," and pulls out like 3 loose sheets of paper, and he'd completely rewritten the song, and it was 4,000 times better than anything we wrote.
He said that he wrote it on the plane, and there's a line in the movie where he says he wrote it on the plane, and he helped out a lot. He was really great.
It's funny because I just rewatched that scene where he does the doctored lyrics, and it's amazing to imagine him pulling out reams of drafts to show you for that.
Marquis de Sade, written in blood, and he's like, "I fixed your movie for you."
I was up all night. Let's open up to the audience for some questions. Does anyone have any questions? Right here. Hi.
Hi.
Hello.
I have a very simple question for you guys. I do improv with the Pit, and I do sketch with UCB, and I just got the space for my very first sketch show. So yeah, thanks.
Amazing.
And I was just gonna ask, what advice would you give to sketch writers?
To sketch writers? I mean,
broad
for me,
question.
UCB was like, what I learned at that place was just like, go there as much as possible, stay there as much as possible, meet as many people as possible, and the people that you work well with, keep working with those people, and as long as you're having fun, I mean, like, I would just go show up, and at 11 o'clock, be like, what do you want to do? And we would sit in the back and come up with something and try it, and it would be terrible sometimes, and then we would try it again, and keep doing it. On my first episode of SNL, I did a sketch that I wrote for the same thing. Do you have a spank at UCB? Do they still call it that? No, I don't. Oh, we'll get there. Just stick around. And my career and my whole thing is because of UCB and because of the people I met there, and I owe everything to that place. And I try to go back as much as possible. I should go more. You feel like, it's the best. And you just meet all these amazing, like-minded people. I say just go do it as much as possible. Yeah. Is that good? Is that okay?
Do you want to add to that, or?
I'd appreciate it if you didn't.
Okay, great.
Next question.
All right. Next question.
Hey guys, congrats on the movie. Can't wait to see it. So I got 2 questions. Did you guys get to do any activities while you were shooting in the great outdoors? And then my second one is for Karen. What was the one thing that you got to take away from SNL?
My nameplate? Yeah. We did do a lot of, I guess I'll go in reverse. These relationships truly, it's a hard job to get. It's a very coveted position, and they don't make it easy to get it. So getting it is great. To do 6 years of it is insane and a dream come true. But everybody else has taken similar but very unique, different journeys, and they are the funniest, smartest, most inspiring people that I've ever crossed paths with. So getting to work with the people I got to work with, that's by far the most precious thing I'll take with me. And we went hiking.
Is it true that when you're on SNL, I mean, both of you, I've 2 of the best cast members they've had in a really long time. Really, really wonderful. Bobby, you're extremely funny. Like, I think
It's still so weird. I still go like, oh my God, yeah, we're on it.
I think every time you show up, Bobby, there's a laugh guaranteed. And Taran, there was something that I noticed about you, I think in your first or second year as an avid watcher of the show, that like, when you showed up, it's like, oh, this is going to be a solid sketch. Like, this is going to land really well, no matter what happens. This guy's on top of it, kind of thing. Sort of like an old school Will Ferrell thing, which is like, if you threw him in, it's going to go where it's supposed to go. But is there a moment where you get comfortable at SNL, or is it every season? Or are you still kind of like, this could not go well. I might not have a sketch this week.
For some, maybe. Yeah. I do not. I still always feel first day. I feel like it's my first day all the time. So some weeks maybe not. I don't know. Just move. No. That's what has happened to me. SNL is that.
Yeah. You are starting from scratch every week, and so I don't think that ever goes away. The fear, the stress, or also the optimism of like, I got it this week, and finding out very quickly you do not. And
it's that 10 times a day.
Yeah.
There are days where you go in and you're like, this is my week, man. And 15 minutes later, I'm like, well, that's cut. And then 15 minutes later, you're like, I have to do what now? I have to do, and when? And then,
Opening the show?
yeah, I'm in the cold open now. Or like, we'll be shooting something, and we do a lot of pre-tapes now, and they'll be like, you have to come back to the studio and rehearse this one line in the monologue. And I'm like, I've been here 8 years. I got it. And they're like, you have to be here for it. And then I'll come back in, do that one line, and then on Saturday, they're like, you got to do an update, or you got to do a cold open. And it's like, oh, that's really hard. Like, it's a lot of that.
I don't want to take anything away from Daryl Hammond before we move on to the next question, but since we're on the topic of SNL, you were my preferred Trump. I'm gonna let you know that. But
you mean me?
Hammond's
right?
great. What? Last question, guys.
Hey guys, glad to have you here. So I'm a big fan of comedy. When you guys have an off week and not doing SNL, what do you like doing on your Saturday nights?
Wow, pretty much recovering or sleeping. I'm a very big homebody. SNL. I once SNL starts, I don't leave a 5-block radius for 9 months. Like I am not as fun as Taran's a fun guy. Taran does things. I'm a loaf.
I very much enjoy games, from very simple ones to the board variety to very complex, like escape the room type situations. To modern popular video type games that the children are enjoying. But I also am a family man. I have 2 kids, so I like to try to mash those 2 together. So have you ever seen the movie The Game? I do that to my little girls.
You throw them off a roof at the end of the day?
Yeah.
I just ruined that movie.
But now they appreciate life.
And when they land off the roof, you go, it's a game.
I'm there to hug you. Hey, you're welcome. This cost me $250,000. It is a good movie. David Fincher's
It's a fantastic film.
It's wonderful. Guys, congratulations on all your success. The movie opens September 9th, this
Thank you,
Friday.
guys.
Thank you.
This Friday, right? Thanks so much for being here. Thank you.